I heard that Atomy is going to open in New Zealand, Turkey, the UK, and more countries this year. I am curious as to which other countries Atomy will be expanding to, and which among them you have the highest expectations for.
Well, for the many countries we've entered, we have high expectations for all of them, and they're actually doing better than we expected. For countries that do well because their economies are large, since they make good money, from a business standpoint, my expectations are high. So I hope they do well. That's my thought. And then for countries with smaller economies, the poorer nation. My goal isn't so much for the company to make a lot of money from sales, but rather for the local people living there to be able to use this tool, Atomy, as a way to escape poverty, to improve their lives and create better opportunities for themselves. I have high expectations in that regard. So it's not that I have special expectations for any one country. I have expectations for all of them. It's just that those expectations are a little different country by country.
Oh, wow. I find it so positive that Atomy isn't just looking at the wealthier, more well-off countries, but is also hoping to help the more unfortunate countries.
Even though we've banned the profits.
Right, exactly, absolutely.
Okay, I've got a question from a Taiwanese member. Here's the question. Even in a pandemic, it was amazing to see Atomy turn a crisis into an opportunity and look toward the future. So I would like to hear about Atomy's vision directly from the chairman.
When I think about Atomy's future, in fact, I truly believe that our future is really extremely bright. We are designing a bright future for ourselves right now. We're planning it. How? We go into the future and we directly draw the picture of what that future will be. We are creating it ourselves. And so we are making it so that the future that comes to us is one that contains our own intentions. We call this transcending dimensions. People say, that person is four-dimensional. Or they say, that person is on another level, an insurmountable four-dimensional wall. Things like that. So usually, people who seem out of touch with reality are called four-dimensional. But I think we must become four-dimensional. Why? Because we can never change our past. And changing the present is also extremely difficult. But changing the future is not that difficult. So as for me, I mostly live in the future. In my mind, I have many more thoughts about the future than about the present reality. When I first started Atomy 10 years ago, I had in my mind the situation we are in today. You can think of it that way. When I first started Atomy 10 years ago, the present reality then was a tiny office. I was living in an apartment with a $500 rental. The car I drove was a used van. That was the reality. But the reality I talked about 10 years ago was promising to give $1 million to those who became imperial masters. That was the promise from 10 years ago. And how did it turn out? 10 years later, after that time had passed, the $1 million promise has been kept, just as we've predicted. Was that a one-time affair? Total 7 times. We've done it for the 7th imperial master. But 10 years ago, I lived a decade in the future. Wow. This is how I imagine solving problems 10 years in the future. I was living in a $500 rental apartment back then. People would say that I was delusional, losing sleep, obsessing over how I could give away $1 million by forklift. The chairman dreamed of a splendid future, despite his humble reality. I'm not dreaming of the current Atomy. The vision of the future Atomy, what it will be in 10, 20, or 30 years, is what I have in my mind, not the current Atomy of now. The problem of future society. An extremely big problem for economies in the future is that the gap between the rich and the poor is threatening to grow wider. Atomy equals equality. The starting point is equal. Does your level of knowledge have anything to do with Atomy? Having an education doesn't matter. Someone with less than an elementary school education has succeeded, and so has someone with a PhD. Do you need lots of capital to succeed? No, you don't. Is it okay to not have money? Even those without money can succeed. Does being older mean you can't succeed? Not at all. Young or old, anyone can succeed. Just as a young person can fail, an older person can succeed. So we've made an Atomy system where everyone, no matter who, can all succeed. In 10 or 20 years from now, I think for the next 30 years, Atomy will experience super fast growth. The growth will continue. I dream that we can resolve the gap between the rich and the poor that society faces and create a world full of freedom, equality of opportunity, and where love is manifested. The question is this: due to COVID-19, a world has been totally changed. The COVID-19 pandemic has caused many changes in the world. The COVID-19 pandemic has brought many changes to the world. Atomy seminars have also become more online oriented. I'm trying to adapt to these changes as best as I can, but I still feel that there are many difficulties. How should we at Atomy act after the pandemic? The COVID-19 pandemic has affected many industries and our lives. It's also a historic event that swept the world, altering the lives and patterns of behavior of everyone around the world at the same time. So all of a sudden, we were forced into an age where masks are necessary. Anyway, unexpected events can happen at any time. But when we're faced with a problem, our attitude toward those difficulties is what's most important. It's true that Atomy has been continuously growing for the last 10 years. But then we grew even larger when the COVID-19 situation hit, particularly in large countries like the US and Russia. Russia saw 270% growth. We did 270%. Now our branches in countries like the US, Canada, and so on have grown a lot. And our branches in new global markets like China, which we entered on July 10th last year, have also demonstrated significant and incredible growth. So by carefully examining the total sales from China and all our existing branches, our global sales doubled last year. That's 100%. That's incredible, right? Amazing. So from this, we learned that no matter what adversity comes, Atomy will step on it and fly even higher. That's why last year we came up with the slogan, "We rise higher against adversity." The harder the wind blows, the higher the kite flies. Because the Atomy organization has experienced this, I think it has become part of our DNA. If there's adversity, we think, great, we'll fly even harder. We take it as an opportunity to grow even more, and everyone moves in the same direction. As I went through the entirety of last year and carefully verified Atomy's remarkable grit and determination, I gradually gained complete confidence deep within myself that building a 100-year company is not only truly possible, but absolutely achievable. And I truly believe that it wasn't just me, but all the staff and leaders also gained that same confidence as well.